So today we are going to be talking about how to make icons in Plasticity and in Blender. Now, if you're not familiar with Plasticity, it's a really sick tool. This is not an extensive tutorial on how to use it. I just want to show you what it can do. But if you're interested in bringing SVGs into Blender, this is a great tutorial for you. So with that, if you like this content, like, subscribe. And if you want to get a hold of me or ideate on these things, share your work, check out the XRD Discord link down below. So with that, let's go to my office and jam. Okay, so we are in Figma. Now I'm using Figma to get my SVGs because I think everyone has access to Figma, and I'm using Coco Icon Pack 600 editable icons. And the reason why I'm using these icons is because they offer me a lot of contrast. Now you can use any SVG you want, but for me, I'm just looking for something a little bit bubbly, something with a lot of curves and a lot of depth. So if we see this one right here, I'm going to pick this one. So I'm going to export this SVG. And as you see right now, I have created on my desktop a folder called Speech Bubbles, and I have that inside of it. Cool. Okay, so now that I have that SVG, let's open up Blender. Okay, so I am here in Blender 4.2.0, and if you see down here, I will have all of my actions. Now inside of my scene, it's going to look a bit different than yours. Don't worry, everything should be fine. We're not going to be playing around with too many of these windows, but as you see right now, I have two objects in my scene, and I'm going to delete them. You can delete whatever is inside of there, and if you're interested in why I have these, let me know with a comment down below. So I'm going to hit X, I'm going to hit delete. Now I apologize, I am going to go a little bit fast in this one, but that's because there's a lot to do. So to import the SVG, I'm going to go to File, Import SVG. I'm going to go to my desktop, find Speech Bubbles, and then there's my SVG. Now right now it's super small, but if you just like select it and hit S, we can scale it up to where we want it. And I think that this is fine. If you have a numpad, you can hit the period key and you can basically zoom into it. So then with this selected, I'm going to right click the icon, and then I'm going to say set origin to geometry. And then I'm just going to zero this out in the location over here. Now, if you don't see this over here, you can hit N and it will pop out. It's under item. So what we want to do is extrude this up. Now we can turn this into a mesh and extrude it, or we can do another way, which is basically coming into this, I believe, my data geometry. And let me expand this out a little bit. We can basically hit extrude, hold down shift, and it's just going to be very, very sensitive. So right now this is 0.1. So I think I'm going to do 0.004. And I think that this is fine for what we need. As you see, this has a default shading on it. And that's fine. We can always get rid of that. So down here below, you can either go into your shading tab, and if you select it, you will see SVG matte, and you can remove it. But I also have my space down here because I always use this. So right now we have this and it looks pretty good. And we could probably render this without actually making it a mesh. So if I duplicate it right now, I can right click, convert to mesh. And as you see right now, this is really, really dirty. Like this topology is really bad. I think for the sake of this tutorial, we don't need to worry about it. So I'm just going to grab this, throw it over here, and then I'm going to hit Shift A, and I'm going to hit plane. And then with the plane selected, I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to hit S as to scale it down, and I'm going to hit middle mouse button Alt and drag, and I'm just going to turn on this so we can see exactly what's happening, and I'm just going to slightly navigate it over. Awesome. So now I'm going to grab this, I'm going to hit E to extrude, bring it up, and I'm just going to hit S to scale it down so that looks about right. This isn't an exact science here. Now I can hit 2 in edit mode, and I grab each one of these, and I'm going to hit Control B to bevel, and I'm going to hit mouse up. And so if we look at this right now, it looks pretty good. So one thing I want to point out, what I usually like to do is I usually like to set a HDRI so we can get some nice even lighting. We don't have to worry about lighting this stuff right now. So to do that, I can go to my color, I can go to my environmental map, and then when I'm in my environmental map, I have a whole folder of HDRI. So if I apply that, there it is. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to film, and I'm going to say transparent so we don't see it. So this is kind of where you would want to go. If I just create a brand new material real quick, you can see very generic icon. But as you see right now, but if I hit Control B, it's going to be a lot harder to make the bevels, and I would have to clean up this topology in order to make it remotely interesting. Yeah, I could basically, you know, control that edge and bevel it if I want, and I can have like that rounded corner. Like we could do that. I would spend a lot of time just in Blender getting this the way I want and experimenting. Then I found Plasticity. Now, if you guys aren't familiar with Plasticity, Plasticity is a NURB-based tool. They call it the CAD for artists up here, as you see. And I think that this is an amazing tool for hard surface modeling, and it allows you to play a lot more. So if you guys aren't familiar with it, download it. It's free for about a month, and then you have to pay, but I think it's only like, you know, $100 a year. And then if you don't want to keep updating, you can keep your last version. It's worth every penny, and I highly suggest you check it out. So let's open up Plasticity right now. And as you I have an empty scene with a cube. Now, if I click this cube, I'm going to delete it. Now, I'm not going to go through how to use Plasticity. Instead, I'm just going to shoot through this to show you how exciting it is. So if you really want to get into the meat of, you know, Blender and coloring your icon, feel free to skip ahead, but I'm just going to shoot past this. So to skim past this, I want to kind of explain some basics. So first and foremost, in order for me to bring an SVG into Plasticity, I need to create a step-up file. I can't just bring in an SVG, a scalable vector graphic, into here. So in order to do that, I'm going to have to go to this thing called SVG to step. It's linked down below, so if you want to play with it, feel free. And I already have the speech step up, but I'm just going to grab this message SVG, and it's going to do this, and then I would simply convert it to a step-up file. But I already have that done. So what I can do is I can go in here, import speech step-up file. And as you see, again, it is really, really small. So I'm just going to scale it up. This is fine. 2 by 2, doesn't matter. Now, the beautiful thing about Plasticity is that it is a NURB-based tool. So when I imported this, it's created all of these curves for me, kind of very similar to Blender. But what I can do here is if I hit 3, I can grab this and it automatically extrudes, and I just bring it up, and you can see already it looks a million times better. Another cool thing I can do is I can grab these little speech areas right here and bring them up as well. So now I have those little words popping out. Cool. So similar to Blender, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another curve, and it's just going to be the square. I hit C, and I'm just going to hold down Shift. And as you see right now, I have this backing, which will be the back to our icon. So if I hit G, Z, and if I select the back of it and hit right, you can see it snaps to the back. This is why Plasticity is just so much easier. And if I hit A, if I hit 1, I can grab these little edges. If I hit B, I can bevel, and then I can bevel these like so. Cool. Now I'm just going to extrude this. And now I'm just going to hide all of my curves. And we have already basically, in that small amount of time, replicated the icon we did. But the thing that's wonderful about Plasticity is that I can just get my base structure going, and I can just keep going further and further. So what I like to do is I like to grab, if I hit 5, I can grab it and I can push it over. And I just usually do this to have a safe base. So if I hit Shift D, I'm just going to bring this over, and I'm just going to try one more. I usually like going for about 20 to 30 minutes, maybe an hour, just experimenting. But for the sake of this, I just want to show you what Plasticity can do, and then we can drop it into Blender. So what I can do here is I can control my bevels on all of my edges quite easily. And if I just do this, you can see you make it a little bit more bubbly, and I can even merge geometry quite quickly. So if I grab this backing right here, as you see right now, it's being cut out, which is something that we don't want to do. So let me grab this. So if I grab this entire thing, I should be able to hit delete, and it just removes the bottom, right? So it's non-destructible. And so what I can do right now is I can grab this and I can just move it down a little bit, and I can hit this back, hit Q, and I believe it's merged. So if I hit 5, and I want to make sure my speech bubbles are off, if you see right now, it is merged. So if I hit 2, I can just, grab this, and I can just start making it blend into the background. Now you can do all kinds of crazy stuff with this, with lofting and stuff like that. And it's just absolutely magical, but I'm not going to get too into it right now for the sake of time. but I'll show you some concepts at the end that I maybe spent 20 minutes to create and had a lot of fun with. So now that we have these created in Plasticity, let me actually just grab this and make this a little different so we can kind of tell when we bring it in from our other one. Cool. So now that I have these two in Plasticity, what I can do is I can either go into this export and I can basically save them as a wave OBJ. So if I just say file name, I don't know, fun, let's just say icon bubs. I can change these to n-gons and I can really play with the topology of this, right? And while that's cool and everything, I think what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to go a little bit faster. And this is like the beauty of Plasticity. So now I have my Blender scene open. And what I'm going to do here, right now it's at world, object. I'm going to go into this plugin and I have to organize all these plugins. So if I go down to Plasticity, I can open this up, I can connect it, and I can hit live link and then refresh. Now, as you see right now, anytime, because I hit live link, anytime I make a change to this, so I'm going to get rid of this. So if I wanted to, I can bring this up. And as you see in Blender, it changed, right? Really cool. So I'm going to go back to here, undo it, back here. Now that I have these in here, what I like to do is I like to change some of the topology. So if I can go into n-gons, change this to 0.1 to 1, refactor. And now my topology isn't the worst thing in the world. Sometimes you have to watch out for like little creases and stuff. But I think we have it the way we want. And you can see already with our HDRI on, it's looking really, really pretty. So here are our Plasticity ones, and here is our our regular Blender one. Great. So let's focus on Blender for now. And what I want to do is I want to like add color to this. But as we talked about before, the topology of this is terrible. So unwrapping it's going to be a nightmare. So for the sake of this, I just want to show you the idea of atlasing, and this is going to be very important for you. So right now I have in my material set right here, I can create a new material, but for the majority of you, you're going to be probably wanting to do this in the shading tab. Now the shading tab is going to add extra cavities so you can see things a little bit better. So I will attempt to use this. I really don't use this tab. That's why on my homepage I have this right here. So if I go to shading, I'm just gonna navigate around this, and I am going to create a brand new material. And right now this brand new material should have nothing there, but my nodes are kind of busted, so ignore this. I'm going to use Node Wrangler. Now, if you don't have Node Wrangler installed, I highly suggest you download it. It's free. Go to Edit, Preferences. I already have it installed. You can get into Get extensions, but if I type in Node Wrangler, there it is. So install that. So once that's installed, I hit Control T, and now you're going to see this black image. And I'm just going to call this Atlas up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Atlas. Now, link down below, I have a list of all these free atlases you can download, but for now you can pause it, grab it, and then come back. But I'm just going to grab the albedo channel. And what this is going to do is my Infenzia, if I grab this, you can see it has this large checker pattern of colors. And this is really, really small. And you're going to want to use atlases a lot, especially if you have really simple concepts, because it reduces like the size of your file and it's just easier to manage. Okay. So with this done, what I can do is I can grab both of these things, and I'm just going to apply the same thing to the background. So if I grab the background first, shift, you can see this lighter orange. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Control L, and I'm going to say link materials. Now they're linked. Now, if I hold down middle mouse button and drag, I'm going to go to the top, and I'm just going to make sure everything is selected by going into edit mode and hitting A, and then I'm going to hit U and then project from view. So what does that do? So if we look right here, it projects the wrapping from the top down perspective. And for this project, it's completely fine. With that, we have it projected. I'm going to go back into object mode, grab the bubble and do that first. And I'm going to scale it by hitting S and scaling down. And I can have that nice blue. And then I'm going to go to my background. I'm going to hit A, S, and I'm just going to bring it to maybe this like lighter blue up here. And so you can really play around with a lot of interesting things with this. So if I look at this right now, it looks pretty good. You know, you could probably play with, you know, a bevel. Because this geometry is okay, I can just, you know, alt grab an edge in edge mode right here, hit Control B, and I can wheel up on my mouse and I can start adding a little soft bevel. But that brings me to here. You can do all kinds of, you can do the same thing with this. It's just not going to look as good because a lot of this stuff is kind of merged. So let's just do the exact same thing here. So if I grab all of this, I'm going to keep, actually no, let's just grab my little bubbles, and then I have all of that, and I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to hit Control L, link materials, and because I didn't unwrap this, it's going to be gray. So if I hit tab A, and if I hit U, project from view, cool. And I can do the exact same thing. So let me do that real quick. Okay, so now with them both done, you can see there's kind of a massive difference in quality. And right here, if you know what you're doing, you can play with a lot of the curves of this one. And while I'm not going to get into this one here, I'll show you a bunch of different concepts here in a second. You can see the difference of like kind of the quality and fun you can get with a plasticity icon, which you can churn out really fast, versus like a regular Blender icon, which if you played with the softness and all that stuff, like it will be, you can make it look as good. It's just gonna take a little bit more time, and it's a little bit hard to experiment. So I'm gonna save that. And talking about experiment, let me show you like the stuff I was experimenting with earlier. So like here, for example, I was playing with a bunch of different concepts. So let me get this into render view, and let me minimize this. So as you see right now, like this one right here, I have it kind of falling into the icon itself, played with a lot of soft shadows. Here I use lofting to try to make this wavy turn, whatever. This one is just the classic right here. And then I have just a regular sync. So if I go to the top view, as you see, they look almost all identical. It's just like the minute details, and you don't really notice until you get them at this position. And this is why making 3D icons for, you know, applications for the most part, if you're not showing the depth, it's just straight on, it's not necessarily worth it. And each one of these, like for instance, let's just see, total of these 4 icons is 30,000 polys, which is just absolutely insane. So anyway, I hope you find this interesting. I hope you play with plasticity. I hope you make some icons. And if you do use plasticity, or if you make any of these icons, please share them on social and call me out. I would love to see and look what you guys are creating. And if you like this kind of content, give me a like and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, take care, and plus minus. Peace.